Good evening, I'm Keith Kate. It's hard to imagine anyone could be so brutally cruel, but St. Petersburg police have identified a man they say kidnapped a teenage girl, killed her, dismembered her body, and then dumped her remains. Authorities believe Stephen Gress drove to this dumpster in Ruskin to dispose of 16-year-old Miranda Corsett. But that was 2 weeks ago, and whatever he left there has been hauled to a landfill. Investigators are now looking for Michelle Brandis. They believe that she was with Gress when he tried to hide Miranda's body. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers is covering this story for us tonight. Nicole, it's hard for anyone not to be rattled by the violent nature of these crimes.
Keith, you know, some of the people I spoke with here in St. Petersburg say this story just makes your stomach turn, let alone the gruesome details. But the fact that it happened here in one of our communities. But still, as this investigation continues tonight, there are still some questions left unanswered. A neighborhood in dismay after hearing the gruesome details of a teenager murdered nearby.
Thought of what occurred was very, very, very disappointing to me because I never thought that this guy had the capabilities to allegedly do what they said he did.
St. Pete Police Chief Anthony Holloway says 16-year-old Miranda Corsett was lured through a social media app to meet 35-year-old Stephen Gress on Valentine's Day. Investigators say on February 20th, they got into an argument over a piece of jewelry.
So from the 20th through the 24th, she was beaten and tortured because they could not find this piece of jewelry.
Chief Holloway says what happened next was unimaginable.
She was then killed. Mr. Gress placed her body in his car along with his domestic partner, Michelle Brandis, and they drove her to Largo.
And that brings us here to a home Chief Holloway says belonged to Brandis's mother.
Miranda was dismembered at that location. They then placed her in a car and they drove her down to Ruskin where they dumped her into a dumpster, and her body is somewhere possibly in a landfill somewhere in that county.
His message for Brandis?
Michelle, if you're out there, we're trying to tell you to turn yourself in because we will find you sooner or later. And if anybody out there is trying to help Michelle, if we can, we will charge you.
And while at this hour, she hasn't been charged with the crime, Chief Holloway says Brandis has witnesses that say that she was there while the defendant was putting that teenager's body in the car, and now the hunt for her continues.